Very good morning, all my dear students. Welcome back. Hope you are all good. So, today we will talk about production possibility curve. How do we finally get the curve, and what shape does it look like? What are the reasons behind those shape? What is its slope? The term we'll explain later. Up until now, we have talked about the definition of PPC and the assumptions of PPC. PPC is production possibility curve. So, PPC, the definition, first we have to write the definition and then the assumptions. Finally, we'll do the schedule today. The definition was that it refers to graphical representation, because finally this table we will be plotting graphically. Whatever numbers, we will just see what numbers will the table have. We will plot them graphically, so it is a graphical representation. Anything that we just do it on the graph, actually we will not exactly be using the graph paper, we'll do it in the register only. So any curves or graphs we'll be doing in micro, that we'll be taking in the register itself. No extra graph paper is required, because we don't have to be that much accurate with the scale. But in statistics, the graphs we'll be doing, for that you will be provided with the graph paper. Okay, so it is a graphical representation of possible combinations of two goods, because we are assuming that the economy is only producing two goods, and here in our case we have one good we have taken as wheat and another good we have taken as guns. So economy is producing two goods, so all those possible combinations of two goods that the economy can produce with given resources and technology. What do we mean by given resources and technology? That these are the set of resources we are given. Like I just give you the entire detail of resources India has. We have these many rivers, this much area under forest, these many mountains, this much these many people and everything, this much land area, land, labor, capital, and this much human capital. I have given you the entire data of all the resources of production that we have. So with those given resources, how much maximum we can produce? Again, please remember, PPC is not telling us what that state or that particular country is producing exactly. It only tells us our maximum potential, at our hidden capabilities, what exactly we can produce. So wherever we get whatever be the curve of PPC, that would be our maximum reach. We cannot produce outside PPC, because under PPC we are already assuming, just recall all the assumptions, we are already assuming that all the resources are fully and efficiently utilized, which is not exactly the case right now with any country. In fact, not there is never 0% rate of unemployment, or there is never some land which has not been put to no use. Always some land is sitting idle. Some people are sitting idle, they are not utilizing their capabilities, people are not working to their maximum capacities and all that. So PPC will tell us, again I repeat, that it is going to tell us, it is going to represent the combinations of those goods, of the two goods which economy can produce with given resources and technology. And again we will be assuming that resources are fixed. While we are drafting out all the possibilities, resources will not change, neither they are decreasing nor increasing. Then only two goods are produced, all the resources are fully and efficiently utilized. Also, technology is constant. Technology is also not changing, because if technology changes, our possibilities will change. If we come up with new better technology, we will be able to produce more. Same machine, if we are using a new machine now, that new, and let us suppose an old thresher is just able to thresh 600 kg of wheat. Now we have got some new technical thresher available in the market, some latest thresher which is able to thresh maybe 1000 kg of wheat in that particular time only. In 1 hour we were able to produce, let us suppose, 600 kg of wheat, and now with the same thresher we are able to thresh 1000 kg of wheat. So better technology always increases the possibilities. So that we are not going to see for now. We will only assume technology and resources both are fixed. And this final assumption is very important, that resources are not equally efficient in production of all the goods. Goods, commodity, these mean the same thing, that is saman. Anything which is tangible, which can be bought from the market, which you can touch. Goods are that. Goods or commodities are one and the same thing. So this is again, this last assumption is very important, because resources are not equally efficient in production of all the goods. So I have written here, so when the resources are transferred from production of one good to another, like when we'll be transferring labor from production of guns to wheat maybe, then the productivity decreases. The people who are very skilled at producing guns, they will not be able to produce wheat at the same speed, at the same capacity. And the people and the land also, the factory, the building, everything, the same land now will be using to produce wheat. So things have to be changed. We'll be using more and more of guns every time. You're not as much good in accountancy maybe as you are in business studies, or you're not as much good in economics as you are in accountancy. So again, everybody has got efficiency in some particular product, and not all the products equal efficiencies there. So let us begin with our example. Possibility A we had already discussed. If we are assuming all our resources of the economy are utilized in the production of guns, every resource available in the economy, let us suppose, is using, is just producing guns. Or for that matter, you can take a broader category, defense goods. All the resources available in the country, land, labor, capital, human capital, everybody's engaged in the production of defense goods. So we are assuming that we are able to produce 21 units of defense goods. The numbers are in units, and the units can be anything. So possibility A, when every resource is engaged in the production of defense goods, we are able to produce 21 units of defense goods and no unit of wheat, because no resources producing wheat. Now, possibility B, now country needs some wheat, people need wheat to survive, they need some food to eat, there is a need of civil goods also. So now we will be producing wheat, so we will be shifting some resources from the production of defense goods to the production of wheat. Resources will be coming to here, so there will be some loss in units of guns, because resources are fixed. Earlier we were producing everything with we were using all the resources for guns. Now some of those resources have been shifted to the production of wheat. So let us suppose now we are able to gain 1 unit of wheat, and here the loss is also 1 unit of guns. Okay, this 1 unit can be anything. Let us suppose it is in 1000 kgs. So when people and land and labor were shifted from here to here, so we had a loss of 1 unit there. The loss is of 1 unit, minus 1 is here, and here the the economy is gaining wheat by 1 unit, and 1 unit is actually 1000 kgs if we assume. Otherwise you can just leave it, you can just write here in units. Okay, now let us suppose we need more of wheat in the economy, and we still need to shift some more resources from guns towards wheat. Resources need to be transferred from guns towards wheat. So again, some loss will be faced on the gun side, and some gain we'll be having on the wheat side, because economy needs more wheat to produce. Now please remember, the people who are good at guns, they are not so good at wheat. So now to produce again 1 more unit of wheat, to go from 1 to 2, we have a gain of 1 unit only. To produce 1 more unit of wheat, economy will lose more guns than even before, because let us suppose earlier we shifted 10 laborers from there, and all those 10 laborers together, they produced 1 unit of guns. So 10 laborers were shifted from guns to wheat, and they were able to produce 1 unit of wheat. So minus 1 here and plus 1 here. Now we need in fact more than 10 labor, because people are not good in producing wheat. So to have the same gain of 1 unit, we are losing more here, more this side. So earlier we had a loss of 1 unit. Now let us see, we have a loss of maybe 2 units. So we are having guns, we are decreasing the guns to 18 now. and we are having a loss of minus 2 units. So because when resources are shifted from the production of guns to wheat, their productivity decreases. So, now more number of resources are required to produce 1 unit of wheat, but loss here will be more. Similarly, the people who are good at batting in cricket, let us suppose, they are not so good in bowling, and vice versa. The ones who are good bowlers, they are not good batsmen. So, let us suppose, just look at this. Runs needed are 20. Every time we need 20 runs, the gain of 20 runs we need in our team. So, the batsman alone is enough to score 20 runs. So, one batsman is required. So, we are losing 1 unit on the batsman side. On the labor side, let us suppose the other commodity is labor, and the other first commodity was runs. So runs needed were 20, and we were losing one batsman on the labor side. Now we again need 20 more runs, and now we have bowlers with us, or maybe some people who are not so good at scoring runs. They are good at bowling now. So when this man was, let us suppose, he was able to do both. He was able to score with the bat also, and he is able to bowl good also. But now we are having more and more of bowlers in the team. So all these bowlers, now we'll be needing more people to score 20 runs. Now let us suppose two bowlers together, they were able to score 20 runs. Now this loss, this side is actually 2 now, and again the gain is still 20. Now we are needing more runs in the team. Again 20 runs we need to score, and for that we need some people. So resources will be shifted from here to here, and for that matter we will be needing, let us suppose, now the remaining bowlers, they just do not know scoring runs at all. So now so together 4 of them were able to produce 20 runs. So we are having loss, and we are having an increase in loss every time we are shifting resource from here to here. Similarly, every time the country wants to produce more wheat, the productivity of the guns will fall more and more. So let us suppose we need to produce 1 more unit of wheat. So now again the gain is 1, but to give this gain of 1 unit, more and more resources have to be transferred from guns to wheat. So more and more units of a commodity of guns will be sacrificed to produce the same unit of wheat. Earlier we had a loss of 1 unit, now we had a loss of 2 units. Then we had a loss of 2 units, and now we'll be having a loss of, maybe we can just keep the loss anything. Now we will be having a loss of more than 2 units. It can be 3, it can be 4, it can be 5, it can be any number greater than 2. So let us just take the loss of 3 units, and now we are having 15 guns and 3 wheat. So see, up until now these are countries' production possibilities. This is first combination A, 0, 21. We can produce 0 units of wheat and 21 units of guns. This is one of the possibilities if all our resources are utilized in the maximum manner possible. Second possibility for our country is either we can produce second possibility is 1 unit of wheat and 20 units of guns. Okay, together, see, 1 and 21 would not be a possibility then. 1 unit of wheat and 21 unit of guns would not be a possibility, because when we are shifting resources from guns to wheat, then guns production will fall to 20, and then we have wheat's production as 1. Next possibility for our country is 2 units of wheat and 18 units of guns. Now country has to decide what it wants more. Do we need to stay here, like we don't need wheat at all? Do we need to stay here? Do we need to stay here? What? Production possibility curve is just showing us the possibilities where we can reach. It is not showing us what country is exactly producing. We might be producing very less than that, because our resources are not utilized efficiently. So many resources in the country are being waste. Next possibility was 3 units of wheat and 15 units of guns. So 3 and 15 is also one of the possibilities. Let us see more possibilities. Maybe now we need 1 more unit of wheat. So gain here is 1. So plus 1 is here. And because to produce more wheat, people and other resources also, money, raw material, everything needs to be shifted from here to here. Now more money will be put in the production of wheat, so some money will have to be withdrawn from the production of guns. So now we will be buying raw material for wheat and all, but everything now, the land and all, everything, the productivity here decreases because people are not that much efficient in the production of guns. So before this we had a loss of 3 units. Now we will be having even greater loss because these people, they are not that much efficient in the production of wheat. So now let us suppose we are having a loss of 4 units and we come down to 11. Similarly, if we need to produce more wheat, we will be having more loss here, more than before. More and more units are sacrificed every time to produce one additional unit of the other good. This is very important. I told you more of one good means less of other good. But here, more of one good is actually less and less of the other good. Every time you are decreasing this, but then the loss is also more than before. Earlier the loss was 1, next time the loss was 2, then it was 3, then it was 4. And finally, if we want to produce 5 units of wheat, we have to keep the loss greater than 4 to keep our concept intact. The concept will be applicable only if you keep the loss every time greater than before. So now to produce 5th unit of wheat, we will be losing even more units than 4. And let us suppose we are losing 5 units, and 11 minus 5 is 6. So we'll come to 6. And if we need to produce all our resources, if we shift towards wheat now, and no resource for guns is left, so now we are actually losing all 6 units of guns, and there is 0 units of guns. So this is also one of the possibilities. So we have these combinations with us: 4, 11, 5, 6 and 6, 0. So these are the various possibilities which economy can produce if all the resources are utilized most efficiently, and we are producing just 2 goods. That was an assumption. Okay. Now these 2 columns, one is MOC and the other is MRT. One term I'm explaining right now. MOC is marginal opportunity cost. Remember opportunity cost of the last class. Opportunity cost is to gain one thing. What is the loss that we are facing, like of the second best alternative? Okay, that's the opportunity cost. So to let us now find the opportunity cost here every time. Okay, why marginal word is here? Marginal is addition of 1 unit. So every time when we are adding 1 more unit of wheat, how much is the gain, how much is the loss we are facing on the gun side? That would be marginal opportunity cost. Marginal, this is the word you will come across in every chapter of economics. Marginal, we are going to study. You'll be just you are just going to be familiar with this word a lot. So the definition actually means it is the number of units of a good or commodity. Just write one of the two, any word which you find easy. It is the number of units of a good sacrificed to gain one additional unit of another good. So number of units of one good sacrificed. Here which good we are sacrificing? We are sacrificing gun. So number of units of gun sacrificed to gain one additional unit of another good. And which good we are gaining here? In our case we are gaining wheat. So number of units of good sacrificed, which is guns. So we can put it this way also. It is the number of units of guns sacrificed to gain one additional unit of wheat. The definition is this. In the definition you will write good, but in our case it is guns and wheat. So the number of units of a good sacrificed to gain one additional unit of another good. Now let us see what will be the MOCs in our example. In first case, we are not losing anything. We have just started with all the possibilities, so there is no loss. I have written in the bracket MOC is actually units lost. So put a dash in the first possibility. Now coming to the second possibility, we shifted our resources from guns to wheat. So we lost 1 unit here. So MOC becomes 1. Number of units of a good sacrificed to gain one additional unit of the other good. We have every time we have kept the gain of 1 unit only. 0 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5, and 5 to 6. So the gain is every time of 1 units. Okay, now we need to see the loss. Going from 20 to 18, we have a loss of 2 units. MOC will not be 18. This is one common mistake students make. They write MOC as 18. MOC is not the number of units you are getting. MOC is the number of units you have lost. Okay, so while coming from 20 to 18, we have lost 2 units of guns. Then 15, at this possibility D, how many units are lost in the economy? We have lost 3 units of guns. Then while coming to possibility E, we have lost 4 units of guns. Then from coming to possibility F, we have lost 5 units of guns, and then we have lost 6 units of guns. So even if you create your own example, you have to take care of this thing, that every time units lost will be increasing. Why? Because people are not that much efficient in the production of wheat as they are in the production of guns. See, if they were equally efficient, then the case would be like this. See this. If they were equally efficient, then it would be like this. To increase the production of wheat by 1 unit, every time we are losing just 1 unit of gun here also. So, it doesn't matter whether you ask them to produce guns or you ask them to produce wheat. They are just neutral between the two goods, because they know they are equally efficient in both the goods. So you can ask them to produce any good and the economy is okay. We are every time losing 1 unit and we are every time gaining 1 unit also. Okay, so this happens when resources are equally efficient in production of all the goods. But this is contrary to our assumption. We assumed that resources are not equally efficient in production of all the goods. And more than an assumption, I told you this is more of a reality also, that actually in reality also resources are not equally efficient in production of all the goods. The land which is good enough to build a factory is not, might not be that good enough to build a house, for that matter, to live in. So we have increasing MOC in our actual case, the case which happens in reality. In that case, MOC is always increasing. The number of units lost of one good increases, and the gain every time the one additional unit. The gain is every time of 1 unit, if you see, but the loss we are facing on this side. To produce 1 more unit here, we are losing more and more units of the guns. But it is important that every time we cannot produce only defense goods or any good. If you take here, even if you take apple and oranges, if you shift from the production of apple to oranges, then you will be facing more and more loss on the apple side, and you're gaining the same number of oranges every time. You can apply this concept to any 2 goods. Even if you take 2 subjects, let us suppose maybe English and accountancy, and to learn 2 pages of English you take half an hour, but to have the same gain in accountancy, that is, same gain would be learning 2 pages. To have the same gain of learning 2 pages in accountancy, your time sacrificed is more and more. Your time spent is more and more. Maybe that is more technical, more conceptual. So you are needing 1 hour for those 2 pages of accountancy. Again, you are trying to, increase your number of pages. So again, for another 2 pages of accountancy, or for any other subject, you are needing even more time than before, because you're not that much good in that subject, or that subject would require much more understanding, or your efficiency in all the subjects is not equal. So you can apply this anywhere. To produce more of one good, you have to sacrifice more and more of the other good. More and more word is important. Now, why does this happen? Let me just show you. You only need to understand this. There is no need to write this. Increasing MOC. MOC is increasing means the loss is increasing every time. Earlier you lost 1 unit, then you lost 2 units, then you lost 3 units, and then you lost more than 3 units, and so on. So MOC is the loss, number of units lost, and MOC is increasing. So why increasing MOC operates? Increasing MOC operates because productivity and efficiency of factors of production decrease as they are shifted from one use to another. Let us understand with the help of an example. Suppose an economy produces only two goods, say guns and butter. A worker is employed in production of guns, okay, because he's best suited for it. That worker, he knows the production of guns to his best level. It was his forte, it was his profession. He was good at it, he was efficient at it. Now economy decides to reduce production of guns and increase production of butter. Then worker will be transferred to production of butter. However, he is not that efficient in production of butter as he was in guns. So as a result, his productivity in butter will be low and MOC will increase. The same thing which I've been telling you all this while, that our productivity in all the goods is not the same. Had it been same, then this would have been the case. Every time we are able to gain 1 unit here, and we are just losing the same number of units here also, no matter which good you ask us to produce. But this is not reality. In reality, when we are producing, when we are shifting our production from one good to other, we are shifting our resources also, and these resources, they are not as good in this production as they were in this production. So now we are losing more and more here. Productivity decreases. We require more and more people. Let us suppose these are people, okay. So earlier one man was enough to produce guns, so to produce wheat. So he was able to give us 1 unit of wheat. He was, maybe let us suppose, he was smarter than the rest of them, so he took less time to learn the production of wheat and all. Then 2 people were required to produce wheat, and they were able to produce 2 units of guns earlier. So by shifting 2 people from here to here, we lost 2 units of guns, but now they were able to produce only 1 unit of wheat. Then 3 people were required to be shifted. 3 together produced 1 unit of wheat, but here they lost 3 units of guns. Then 4 together were able to produce guns of 4 units, but together all 4 of them could produce only 1 unit of wheat, because they are not as good in the production of wheat, and so on. So we require every time more and more people to be shifted from here to produce the same number of gain here. So MOC is the units lost, and these are the number of units lost. For these number of units lost, you will only see the good which is decreasing in units. For MOC, to find MOC, like for example, you are given the numerical in the chapter, in the paper, you are given already the numerical, and you are asked to find MOC. So for MOC, you have to see the table, which side of the table is increasing. So you have 2 goods always. One good will always be increasing and the other will be falling. Why? Because resources are fixed. If you want to increase the production of one good, you have to reduce the production of other good, because resources are not increasing. So same resources, like let us suppose you have this time of 3 hours for your classes. So now we increase the time of economics class to 1 hour, and the time for all the classes will still be 3 hours only. So there will be a reduction in the timings for other classes, okay, because the total time available was fixed. So now other classes which were happening for half an hour, now let us suppose they are happening for 20 minutes. So similarly, because resources are fixed, they are not increasing. So if we are producing more of wheat, we have to produce less of other good, because same good resources have to be used in the production of wheat. Let us now plot this table by on a graph. I have taken guns on y-axis. The good we are losing, we will take on the y-axis, and the good in which we are gaining now, we will take on the x-axis, because we usually move from left to right on a graph paper. So we will be moving from 1 to 2 and 3 to 4 and like that. So guns I have taken on y-axis, wheat I have taken on x-axis. Now let me plot the combinations. The first possibility was 0, 21. That is 0 units of wheat and 21 units of guns. So this is here. 0 units of wheat and 21 units of guns. This is possibility A. Second possibility was 1 unit of wheat and 20 units of guns. And this is my 1 and 20. So 1 and 20 is here. This is my second possibility. Third possibility is 2 units of wheat and 18 units of guns. So this is my 2 units of wheat and 18 units of guns. This is where I am in the third possibility. Fourth is 315, 3 units of wheat and 15 units of guns. So I'm here. Next is 411, 4 units of wheat and 11 units of guns. So I'm here. Possibility E. On the y-axis, you can see I have taken a scale of 3 units. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21. You can take a scale of 4 units, 5 units, 2 units. That's up to you. I found 3 the most appropriate one as per my example. Next, possibilities F. Possibility F is 5 units of wheat and 6 units of guns. So 5 wheat is here and 6 guns is here. So I'm here. Next is 6 units of wheat and 0 units of guns. So I'm actually here. 6 wheat and 0 guns. This is possibility G and this is F. Joining all these 7 points, we get this shape, and I hope all of you will get the same shape. We are getting this shape, and this is our PPC, production possibility curve. At maximum, we can reach here. We cannot go beyond this. We cannot reach a point here. This is unattainable combination, because if we utilize our resources to the maximum possible manner, we can only reach this boundary. Production possibility boundary also we call it, the alternate name, remember. And so yeah, this is our PPC. In the next class, we'll discuss what are the features of PPC, and that is we'll actually throw more light on the shape of PPC, and we'll be discussing more and more examples, and also we will be doing this particular column MRT, what does it mean and how do we find it. Till then, you cover all these points: definition, assumptions, production possibility, schedule. Draw all theyese columns. This we'll fill in the next class. Write the definition of MOC and plot your PPC. This was not required. This was just for explaining the other side of the concept. And just plot the PPC. We will take the topic further in the next class. Till then, take care, you all. Eat good, see good, and do good. Thank you so much.